Abusia me mamo akwa bebre eba teachers so me da wan sisa mo hwe me videos ene the President of the Republic of Ghana the State of the Nation address on oman no niema ekoso ewo oman ni mu anase niema ye de share juma ye de share ni nsa so onye no niema obe inheriting as the president no oman hu State of the Nation address any nhihye a waye se obeye mana aboa ama niema na enkoye no ama na tuye na ye de teacher zone de onim say we have interest in the education aspect intino ye asotre boy who mod say betie the education aspect plans are all my education niema wa shas ye any den and na opeso ye de bo educational system no with the Minister of Education na insem ayete no mi ankasa insem no bi na metie no ema meni giye ankasa because ya dwen ho achepa ntebusia ye ba be hwe video no the State of the Nation address on particularly on the education no nti se wo hwe me sisia no subscribe ba chow eya men hwe keke na untwem subscribe sisia subscribe sisia so that anytime be able upload the video no on sabe to me ide akabi ye nko hwe video ni bra.
Mr. Speaker, the Ministry of Communications, Digital Technology and Innovations will also focus on developing youth IT skills and fostering innovation. Under the 1 Million Coders program, young people receive training in coding, web app development, digital marketing, and other digital skills. This initiative aims to equip them with the necessary skills for employability in the digital ecosystem. We must provide meaningful and relevant education to prepare our youth for today's technology-driven job market. Despite various reforms, issues related to low-earning incomes persist within Ghana's educational system. I'm committed to ensuring that quality education remains a top priority. The system we have inherited is outdated in many ways and must be realigned to meet the needs of the 21st century and the fourth industrial revolution. Recognizing the urgent need for national dialogue on education and in the spirit of inclusive governance, I launched the National Education Consultative Forum on February 18th in Ho. I look forward to the recommendations which we will incorporate into our sectoral policy reforms. Mr. Speaker, even though Article 38 of the Constitution guarantees equitable access to education across Ghana, 30 years after the Free Compulsory Universal Basic Education FQ program was implemented, its full objectives remain unmet. To tackle this issue, government will redefine the scope of basic education and introduce the Zero to Hero initiative to enhance foundational literacy and numeracy. Additionally, ICT training will be integrated into early childhood education at the basic level.
Yeah, Mahama, you're very smart. When the new curriculum was introduced, particularly, Udru grade 4 and I say basic 4 and basic computing, or say early childhood, which means they should have an idea about ICT or computing before I say an omodi ko menim ebema omadwuma bie nkwan be sha asia kodi before say omodru sa tertiary level no.
Over the next 3 years, it will be expanded to cover at least 300 classrooms, 30 centers of excellence, 1,000 teachers and district teacher support teams focusing on the teaching of mathematics and literacy. This year, the Ministry of Education will fully implement a new curriculum for senior high technical schools and STEM schools, introduce a standardized national sign language for hearing impaired learners from kindergarten to SHS, and review the kindergarten and primary school curriculums. To increase access to quality education, we will scale up our social intervention programs like the capitation grants, the feeding grants for special schools, and the government's BECE registration initiative. Mr. Speaker, to promote inclusion and equity, the government will enhance and resource the Islamic Education Unit to recruit more Islamic and Arabic tutors for English-Arabic schools. We will establish STEM and TVET schools in underserved and peri-urban communities. We will provide scholarships to brilliant but needy students in deprived communities, especially for study in law, medicine, and engineering. We'll support Islamic colleges of education with infrastructure and logistics, and will enroll youth in Zongo and deprived urban communities in the National Apprentice Program and offer free technical and vocational training. Mr. Speaker, it is important to continue to retain and motivate our teachers in all schools, especially in the rural areas. Government will begin plans for the implementation of the 20% allowance for teachers who agree to serve in rural schools.
FFC. See, omo call rural areas, omo pray. Sometimes the accommodation given to them. Sometimes when I see some videos about them where they sleep and food they eat, I feel like Nipako and Oko training school, and those people are willing to go and serve. And if they are giving them this percentage, 20%, they will be ready to go and serve peacefully, Mr. President. Thank you very much.
District assemblies are going to be involved in this scheme to ensure that the teachers are present and teaching in the schools that are selected. This scheme will reward such teachers for their sacrifices and ensure quality education nationwide, not only in urban centers. Mr. Speaker, as part of our Teacher Dabre initiative, the construction of teacher accommodation units to improve welfare and attract teachers to rural areas will commence this year. Mr. Speaker, no new school will be built in this country without teachers' accommodation. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, once again for emphasis and for the record, I, John Dramani Mahama, President of the Republic of Ghana, will not cancel the free SHS program.
Mama, I didn't cry chokuma. Oma can't say Mahama be cancel free SHS. Mahama be cancel free SHS. Oba also be cancel free SHS. And ne waka SSU P say or no president no onye na dream say ena on emba na dream muda say obe cancel free SHS. Kudos, Mr. President.
I will not cancel the free SHS program. I am determined to make it better by improving its implementation. And also, for the record, students who have benefited from the free SHS since its inception are about 3.4 million. The figure of 5.1 million beneficiaries, as put out by the previous administration, was an exaggerated and false narrative.
Mr. Duchum, o pesoka sana. Then o pesoka ade yema microphone. Bro Juanse.
Calculated to achieve political credit. Mr. Speaker, while the free SHS program has improved access, the implementation of the program leaves much to be desired. The outcomes of the ongoing National Education Forum will guide our reform efforts in this sector. Mr. Speaker, in line with our promise, the Minister for Education has announced the restoration of Parent-Teacher Associations, PTAs, in the running of schools. It is important for parents and communities to participate in the administration of their schools. The Ministry of Education and GAS will, however, ensure that PTAs do not impose unbearable financial burden on parents and students who cannot afford them.
The Minister of Education will restore PTA. What is the importance of PTA? Share on crisis I go through na duane ni ho and ankwala na nya duane ndi. Sanka PTA wo ho a. Anka PTA wo ho a. And can you say in the Anka PTA can even support the school with food because they are going to pay some levies to the school. They can take some money from the PTA coffers and support the school with feeding. I
am particularly happy to announce that PTAs will be introduced back into the management of education in Ghana under the presidency of Excellency John Dramani Mahama to work for parents and teachers to work together to improve learning outcomes in our educational institutions, and for PTAs to support our educational institutions to produce quality human capital for our country.
Mr. Speaker, the double track system remains a challenge, and we are committed to eliminating it by accelerating school infrastructure expansion and completing stalled educational projects. To fund this, the Education and Finance Ministries are working to uncap the GET Fund so that we can accelerate projects in secondary schools. As promised, we have begun improving secondary school feeding, and the children are getting better quality food as I address you.
Yes, and also confirmed, because na me on social media I'm share na me say nkwala bi from around the secondary school I can say, oh, se sia de omo didi ye, se sia no Mr. President buy no ye hwe omo ye omo didi mu ni niam ni nyina omo didi ye. And also Mr. President, I have confirmed that one too. Mun share video we.
Senior high dining hall history. There has been never watching an egg at the dining hall before. And when a zoo came to power, we are now eating watching like you're watching any acronym say any
Mr. Speaker, efforts to decentralize school feeding and food management include strengthening procurement and store management records capacity. Once completed, food procurement and management will be fully handed over to the secondary schools to do their own food procurement. Mr. Speaker, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics are central to national development, STEM. We will therefore expand STEM programs at all levels to equip all students for the global economy. We don't believe in building single standalone STEM schools. We believe that STEM must be part of the curriculum of every secondary school. Mr. Speaker, regional TVET centers of excellence will be established to provide practical skills. Every region will get a TVET center of excellence to expand technical and vocational education training. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, Ghana has consistently missed its gross tertiary enrollment targets with a rate below 22%, far from the 40% goal that has been set by 2030. Despite over 460,000 secondary graduates coming out annually, 55% qualify for tertiary education, and only 35%, 161,000 of the 460,000 enroll in tertiary education, leaving over 300,000 without access. To address this, government is introducing a no-fee stress policy to eliminate tertiary admission fees, which currently serve as a barrier to higher education for some students. This will be supported by an enhanced student loan scheme, which is called the Student Loan Plus. The no-fee policy will also cover all persons with disabilities. And for emphasis, persons with disabilities will pay no fees for tertiary education throughout their study. And so PWDs who gain admission to tertiary institutions will pay no fees. Additionally, TVET enrollment will be increased from 11% to 20% to boost employment. Mr. Speaker, rising enrollment has strained university infrastructure, causing overcrowding and inadequate accommodation. We are determined to expand access, improve quality, and align tertiary education with national goals, particularly in STEM. Feasibility studies for new public universities or campuses of existing universities to be established in the 6 new regions will commence this year. Seed funding for these projects will come from the GET Fund in order to enhance access. Government will this year engage with the existing public universities to identify suitable sites on their campuses, acquired lands, for the implementation of the private sector participation in the provision of hostels project. This is a partnership between government, the universities, and private investors to expand hostel capacity on their campuses. This will allow more students to be accommodated on the campuses to allow for a better learning environment. Mr. Speaker, academic freedom will be upheld. We will not interfere in the administration of our tertiary universities.
Ebusia, this is the State of the Nation address by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. In some of my Niama okeka nyina eyemede concerning feeding kwala no to see me so mo didi ma videos be trending on social media. So mo didi concerning STEM school for all senior high school, which means say STEM no kanka STEM no di anka say school bia STEM every school. And not just say ya school STEM school nko so STEM school now ya seen it separately in there. And anka every school should have a STEM school. And I say courses are on betimi aya and I say kwala ni nyina no. If you are going to SHS, the STEM should be part of your courses as a ultimate then offer. And now I restore the PTA. PTA has been restored back into our educational system. I'll say first year students and as a disability for in first year for no no fee for level 100 and a disability fund the free mamusa go see. And which is good news for our educational system. I like the way things are going. He said, the president say that there will be a review on the curriculum. There will be a review on the curriculum, and which is a very good news. A good news I'm saying I embrace it because the curriculum has actually said, I say we are being trapped. Meaning, when I say, let me say we are being trapped. I say you are trapped here, and you need the area as teachers, and as the teachers for as a minimum the more. What I say, and when it comes to exams and all that, there's a whole lot. Okay, BC or make sure that they will structure the kind of questionnaire. It will BC based on the curriculum. And there is a reformer Nyama Nyinabekoye. Inti Eda His Excellency John Dramani Mahama say with all this thing, we are hoping and seeing say Ejumapana washa say no or dibeko ewie pa emana boa the educational system. Okay, can some be see we teacher ni na rural areas are. Yeah, more 20%. And okay, when you beji Emma wako akoye day. Ako chira de wo Emma besi accommodations. Ama teachers some person mo call those kind of places because I may share nko for mo call na muda clay demo ebi muda uncompleted building means and kind of structures bia which is not, it doesn't look well. Bia wako university, wako teacher training college. I was events Accra. Wako chira na de na ko share village bi. Also be motivate you with 20% of basically on their salary or any amount that the president is supposed to, and which is good news for our educational system. I think the hope we want, we are going to get it, and we are hoping Mahama ebema niama akoyi ewe educational system. Ebusia me da mo ase bebre. Ema wo re fi so be subscribe na wa share na wa like. Ochina e be san share bio.